Hello everybody, welcome to my latest video. This one is on Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Now this is an Xbox exclusive.
Help me out here.
Or it was, originally. It's now on PS5, along with a lot of other Xbox games. But passing over that really weird situation, what's it like? Now, I am playing the game trial, so do not expect many videos on this because I can't afford to buy it, unfortunately. I would love to, but I can't. Now, I have got an Xbox as well, and I did play a bit of it on Game Pass, and all I'm going to say is it's definitely worth your time. That's all I'm going to say on that matter, because I want the gameplay on screen to do the talking for me. Now, this is not an RPG. Not an RPG in the slightest. It is literally a first-person adventure game. So think Uncharted, but first-person, and you won't be far off. Now, of course, Indiana Jones is the first and foremost Tomb Raider out there. Lara Croft came second, and Nathan Drake came third. So Indiana Jones making a AAA game, or he didn't make it, but somebody making it about him, is quite a big deal. Now, I remember watching these movies when I was a kid, and I use the term movies for my American followers. For my English followers, I'm obviously talking about films.
I'll need my classes covered, of course.
But they struck me even back then, with their action, their fantasy, because there are some pretty fantastic things in the films. But also just their character creation, their character generation and narratives. And this game is no different. So obviously you're following Indiana Jones with his friend Marcus Brody, and another adventure looking for something that did not appear in the films. Now, interestingly, the opening segment, which teaches you how to play, is the opening segment of the very first Indiana Jones film. So basically, while he's trying to, I think it's Ecuador or somewhere similar, he's basically traversing through a forest, finds himself inside this old ruin where there is a golden idol at the end, picks up the idol after replacing it with a bag of sand. It obviously doesn't weigh the right amount, and yeah, all hell breaks loose, and he has to try and escape. Now, it kind of ends as you get to the doorway on your way out. It doesn't follow the film 100%, but that's quite good, because when I first started playing it, I was worried that they had literally just remade the film inside a game, and that would have been a bit of a cop-out. But they haven't. This is actually a fully fleshed out game all on its own. So let's talk about what to expect. Now, you kind of know what you're looking at when you talk about a Tomb Raiding game. And I say Tomb Raiding, not Tomb Raider. So when you're on about a game that is all about exploration, finding mysterious artifacts and things like that, you kind of got to figure that you're going to be in for a bit of an adventure. Now, where this one differs is there's quite a lot of puzzle solving as well. And I mean puzzle solving to the extent that, well, you have to actually find things in your own office, for example. Now, this took me quite a while, and it took me quite a while the first time, because it doesn't give you any pointers until you're looking directly at the thing you need to pick up, which is fine. I don't really have a problem with it. It's just something that I'm not overly used to. Now, graphically, I think it's pretty good. I'm not going to say it's the world's best. I think PS4 era could have done these graphics. The emotion on the faces and stuff is not bad, but it's not groundbreaking by any stretch of the imagination. Cloth physics, again, not 100%. Animations are a little stilted, and by that I mean when we first walked into this room, if you looked at Marcus, he kind of had very funny movements to his legs, and when he leant against the wall, it was very wooden. But that's being nitpicky, because it is a game first and foremost. It's not trying to be a replica film, and that's the whole point. This feels like a game. Feels like a very immersive and interactive game, but it does feel like a game. And that's exactly what I'm after. I don't want a film that I'm just kind of being part of. I want an experience, and an experience that I wouldn't get in any other medium. And this is exactly what I feel we achieve. Now, it does have some interesting nods to the films, such as looking at the map and then seeing this lovely interactive, this is where the planes have flown. That was part of the original films, and it's something that is quite iconic for the Indiana Jones movies. I'm using movie and film interchangeably here. I do apologise to both parties, but it's just something that I've kind of slipped into over the time, so do bear with me. Now, from a storytelling perspective, it's pretty decent. You've got letters and conversations which basically give you the narrative of what's happening. You pick up different things as you go around. Literally, that's it. There's nothing going to be blowing you away. One thing that I did notice, though, is there are certain barriers which stop you from going where you want to go. Now, this is quite a big area, and I couldn't walk past the front of that truck, mainly because they wanted me to get spotted by that guy there, which I think is a little bit harsh. I should be able to sneak round the front of a truck when, let's face it, the gap was big enough, way big enough. I should even be able to get under that truck in a first-person game, but that's another story entirely. Now, it is quite good with combat. You will see that in a second. There are parries, there's punches, and you can do left hand, right hand. So in fist fights, which are all about your health and stamina. There we go. Knock him out.
And that's Professor to you.
You can carry the body, but it does take your stamina quite quickly. So if you're going to do it, make sure you're in an area where you don't have to walk too far, because you do want to make sure that you get where you're going before you have to drop him and sort of stand in the middle of nowhere panting for breath. So let's skip a little further on. This is basically a stealthy section. You have two options. You can either stealth wherever you want, or you can just go in guns or fists blazing. And realistically, it's entirely up to you. When I said I was going to skip ahead, I'm actually going to skip ahead in a little while, simply because there is a mechanic that everyone is going to be expecting, and that mechanic is the good old whip. Indiana Jones was renowned for using a bullwhip, and this game is no different. So you get these scuff marks on places where you can traverse, and then you can lift yourself up, and there will be parts in the world to attach your whip to. Using R1, then lift yourself up. Now, this would be cast in massive shadows, I'm not going to lie. You would be seen from miles away doing this sort of thing, but that's another matter. So, as you can see, the stamina bar in the middle decreases quite rapidly, and I would imagine that as soon as it gets to 0, you are going to drop and die. So, do keep an eye on your stamina bar. It's quite important. Now, this is one of those sections where, as I've just said, you can choose to either go in guns or fists blazing, or you can choose to stealth. Now, there are different stealth options, and if you've played Metal Gear Solid, you kind of know what they are. Throw a distraction. I say Metal Gear Solid, it's in Prey, it's in Dishonored, it's in all of those type stealthy games. But you throw something to distract the enemy and they walk towards the distraction. Now this allows you to sneak round or sneak up behind them and incapacitate them stealthily. Now in this game, stealthy incapacitations basically mean walking up behind them, swinging your fist while grunting, and them screaming out and hitting the floor like a sack of potatoes. So not very quiet at all, but no one seems to notice, so I guess all is good. Picking up bottles is an ideal way of distracting the enemy. And do make sure you aim first, because if you don't, you basically just try and hit whatever it is over the head with it, which is not ideal. Also, do aim up, because this does seem to have pretty decent physics, so if you don't aim high enough, you don't throw it very far. There we go. Now, sneaking up behind them, you can obviously sneak. A bit of a odd animation glitch there, where he kind of almost fell over. You only need to tap the button, whereas for some reason I decided to do a punch which sounded like I'd literally just, I don't know, hit him with a nuclear warhead. That was one hell of an explosion that went off when my fist impacted with him. But to be honest, it is the same as the films. I'm pretty certain I remember when they were fighting, there were some pretty big explosions coming from their fists on impact. So I guess it's true to the source material, which is always good. Now, I did say before I was going to skip ahead, and this is the location I'm going to skip ahead. So this is a little bit further on, when I've kind of done a bit of investigating, done a bit of wandering around, found a map of the area, and now I'm trying to get to the next location. Now, there are a load of fascists in the area. Of course, Indiana Jones films are all set around the Second World War. And currently we are in Italy, near Vatican City in Rome. And we are kind of trying to infiltrate the city because there's no legitimate way into the area. These are Italian fascists who basically supported the Nazis during the Second World War, and I'm trying to infiltrate their stronghold so I can meet up with a friend. Of course, being spotted, there's quite a few people, so it might go horribly wrong for me, so I chose the stealth route. Sometimes stealth isn't quite as stealthy as it might be, and I mentioned that a few seconds ago, in fact. But in reality, in this game, it kind of works. I'm not quite sure what the rules are as far as stealth is, if you get seen in light or something like that, so I try and play it as though I'm in a game like Dishonored, where if you get spotted in pools of light, you are going to basically... Oh, you see, turned around at the wrong time. You are basically going to get spotted and it's all going to go horribly wrong for you. So I'm kind of in a situation where I'm doing my best to hide out of sight in the dark as much as possible. And it does seem to work. Now, one thing that I was wondering while I was playing was whether I can turn off some of the light sources. What I didn't want to do was shoot them out, because the only weapon I have that's ranged is a pistol. I have no bow or anything, so I can't just shoot them down, because my pistol will make one hell of a noise and attract everyone in the entire area. But that being said, I haven't tried knocking out any of the lights. Now, as I said, stealth is a little bit odd. There are certain things that you would expect to cause problems, so I'm about to walk through a pool of light to try and get to this guy here. Now, I know I'm to the side of him, but even so, I personally think that this guy would see, or at least detect, my presence. Bearing in mind the guy next to the truck saw me, even though I was in the shadows at the front of a truck. This guy seems wholly oblivious to my presence at all, so it's definitely a bit of an odd situation. But, you know, it is a game. They do want it to be fun, they do want it to be possible. There would be no way I would get this guy if it wasn't for the fact that I could sneak into this area and, how should I say, knock him out in almost bright daylight. It's not daylight, but it might as well be with the amount of lights in the area. So, I mean, there's not really that much to talk about as far as the gameplay is concerned. You have a map, you pick maps up in various different locations, so until you've got a map you actually don't know where you're going, but you can find them on walls and various other places. You have different weapons, such as dustpan and brush, baton, broom, your whip, a pistol, but basically you can find things in the world to act as weapons. You have lots of different things for distracting the enemy, such as throwing your baton, bottles, or various other items like that. And stealth, knockout, or go guns blazing, it's entirely up to you. So there are choices. As I said previously, graphically, it's definitely passable. It's not going to, as I said before, win any awards, but it is good. You can tell that this is Indiana Jones. You can tell that it's Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones. You can tell that the guy who's playing Marcus Brody in this is the same actor who played it in the films. Obviously, the voiceovers are spot on because they are done by the original actors. If not, they are the best impersonators I have ever heard because they are absolutely brilliant. But I don't want to go into too much depth of the story because I don't want to spoil it. And as I say, this is a 2-hour, well, it's 2.5-hour trial on PlayStation Store. So I don't have that much time to explore and get any further in the story. All I wanted to do with this was show you what sort of things to expect, and I'm hoping from what you've seen you can tell. Now, I'm actually really impressed by this game. It's definitely one that could have gone horribly wrong. A number of movie tie-in, or even just games that have utilised the same characters as movies, have really not done a very good job. That being said, I think this one is actually pretty decent, and I'd go as far as to say it's one of the best that I've seen. Now, I must say, I didn't notice the key that's hanging on the board in front of me. So this video has actually helped me realise that I missed a big thing. I'm going to go back and get that, and with that I'm going to leave it there so I can do that before my trial ends. I hope you found this video interesting and useful. If you have, please make sure you do click the like button. Subscribe if you're new to my channel, or if you are old to my channel but haven't subscribed previously, and in which case, why haven't you subscribed? Am I doing something wrong? Leave me a comment down below. Let me know whether I am doing something wrong, because there is every possibility I am, and I would like to know what it is so I can rectify it. Or just let me know what you think of this game if you have played it, or let me know if this has made you want to play it. Anything, just talk to me down below. It really does help the channel. That being said, I'm definitely going to leave it there. You really do look after yourselves, guys. Take care. Bye for now.